Hi guys. Okay, so we had another weekly candle close for Bitcoin, and more importantly, so we've got two critical levels that we need to watch. These two levels are going to impact the way we need to look at our altcoins, whether they're going to dump lower or whether the bottom signals that we see in the alts are going to give us some really good entries, some really good altcoin gains this week. In addition to this, we also need to consider that all the major weekly news events on the FOMC's front has now been passed. The FOMC meeting minutes are going to be coming out this week, so expect the market to kind of hold trend in that regard, and and hopefully give us our altcoin bags. And if you're interested to find out the alts that I'm looking at, and if you want to watch what I'm going to say around Bitcoin, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join. And good morning to everybody joining in live at the moment as you guys are jumping on. Hello to each and every one of you. Okay, let's get into the charts. Okay, so weekly candle close. It's a significant thing that we need to remember, that when we have these doji candles, doji looking candles on the weekly, the market has to decide what it wants to do. So basically, in essence, it's not sure at this stage whether it is bullish or bearish. Example. And typically what then happens is, around that point, when we have weekly candles like that, there's two ways we need to look at this. Go above this, break above the top of it, it becomes support and the market becomes really bullish, okay, as you could see, and fall below that, it turns that into resistance and the market can become really bearish. Now, for today, the argument is that, oops, don't do that. Long term, we've been trending up bullish ever, for the last 2 years, and we're sitting in a situation now where we're starting to lose momentum again, just like we did there. And it doesn't mean that it's over, but I want to warn myself, and I want to be cautious to the situation that if we fall below the bottom of that candle wick, we open the door for Bitcoin to go back down to 82 even. And then, just like this dip at this stage doesn't look so scary anymore, I promise you, those that were in the market with us at that stage, around these dips, were concerned. It's simple as that. Now, let's have a look at our track record just real quick. We've entered the market. We were hunting, started a YouTube channel around these levels over here. So we were hunting these lows, then it falls, lows, then it falls. So a lot of people got discouraged around that area because we're trying, you never know which bottom is going to be the bottom. But once it started moving, that's why it's very important to stress this. I don't give financial advice. I don't know what the future is going to be. I take things level by level. That's all, okay? So we got a nice entry, we got a nice sell, we got a nice entry, got a nice sell. So we managed to navigate this really successfully up until this point where we missed this entry, didn't get a buy there. Wanted to buy there, didn't get it, and had to buy there, hence the note that I tweeted out. And those that followed will verify that that's truly the case. Then we had the same story. We sold, we bought, we sold, we bought. And then we were looking for momentum plays, which ended up failing. The momentum wasn't there anymore. We were looking for continuation. And if we're looking at Bitcoin, and technical analysis in its essence is a fractal play, we're experiencing something like this. And if we start falling levels now, we're opening the door for more, because now the momentum play, you're going to try and get in on, see if the momentum just needs a little bit of a deeper retrace. Up to a point where you say, okay, now it's no longer, we need to really think and double down on the bearish narrative. And then you need to take the sell and you write the thing down to the buy zone again. And that's where we're at. So where we're sitting in right now, we are making a higher high. The divergence is there. The weekly time frame divergence is there. We cannot deny the strong bearish divergence. It's there. You can see the similarities as well from the previous bull market top, Bitcoin weekly time frame, to where we are right now. There's a lot of similarities. The market has a tendency to rhyme. It never repeats. It never looks identical, but it always rhymes. When you look back at it, you say, I should have done this. We'll have that woulda, coulda, shoulda. That doesn't help you in the moment. So because of that reason, I'm sitting in a situation where we're sitting with Bitcoin showing signs of a top. The trend is still up, and still we have to bet in the favor that it's going to break on higher. Why? Because it kind of sells the idea that the alts are at bottom signals. Okay, so the in short, let's just sum up what I want to say with Bitcoin before we move on to the alts. We're sitting in a situation where momentum is clearly lost. Okay, I am still in my swing short. I am in longs. I'm trying to play both sides of the market to see if we can push price maybe a little bit higher. And there's two critical levels that I'm watching. Don't want to delete that. Two critical levels that I want to watch. Okay. And those levels are 110,500 and 105 on the dot. Anything in between these two levels now becomes insignificant for me, because it's just noise. It's just Bitcoin trying to figure out what it wants to do. But if we can get the weekly to go above 110,500, we will potentially push even higher. It still doesn't mean that the divergence will get deleted. As you can clearly see, the RSI has a heavy job to do in order to delete divergence. So we can still push higher, hence the fact that the sell zone is still active. And this bullishness that I'm talking doesn't mean that it's gonna last forever. There will be a top at some stage, guys. So you have to be bullish, but you have to understand that the market can this structure can push up till 120 and in essence still be bearish. It will look bullish and feel bullish. Remember, tops always look bullish, and that is why I'm optimistic on the alts, because looking at this structure, I'm betting we're going to push through the red line and go deeper into the sell zone, because the altcoins at this stage are giving me bottom signals, which we're going to look at. Now, the danger with Bitcoin, just to stay on point, is that if we fall below 105, those bottom signals would just be the same as any of the other bottoms. It's going to keep on giving you lower lows and going to keep on giving you. So which side is going to win is a really tough question for us today. Now, the chart that I've got to try and define which side is going to win is this chart here. So we've got the Bitcoin CME futures, and on a candle, typically you want to look for these little gaps. So I'm going to make the screen bigger so we can track that. You want to look for these little gaps, because these CME gaps normally get filled. More liquidities on the CME exchange, trading liquidity. So these gaps tend to want to get filled. So we could still see a flash crash for Bitcoin, goes all the way down to say maybe 103, thereabout, before it continues onwards and still be bullish. So the precedent or the argument for this noise maybe falling down a little bit lower and coming back down is valid on the CME. Okay. Now, if we take this information and I'm saying I'm expecting this to not happen, I'm expecting price to go on a little bit higher, what do I have to support that? Well, we look at the total market cap, total 3. This is now taking, looking at the market cap, taking away Bitcoin, taking away the Ethereum pairing as well. So we're looking at all the other coins. We've had price rally nicely, move into the imbalance where we've got hidden bearish divergence, and we bounced off support. Okay, so anytime you have a situation where you create a lower low, retest that, reclaim that area, there was support. Where was the resistance that created the test? Right there. Okay, so now that is support. So we bounced that support. Where was the resistance the last time round price visited this range? Okay, at this stage, the closest area of resistance is there. So we're sitting in a situation where, although the total market cap 3 is still trying to find a base, if it starts breaking out and starts reclaiming this, it's not a lot of liquidity that is needed, we will start looking for a higher high again. And remember, this is the daily time frame. So we're looking at this structure here from a daily context point of view. The trend is healthy. Everything is still looking really good there. And as soon as you scale this up to the weekly time frames, what are we getting here? Okay. We're getting ever so slightly. Nearest makes no difference. A lower low on the RSI, a higher low. So we've got hidden bullish divergence on these lows. So what we will do is at minimum just go and attempt to see if we can make a high. So the total 3 does have a little bit of bullish undertones. That's why the alts being so drowned under, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying that at least they will go and revisit recent lows, recent support areas that was lost, turn them into resistance then, and then drop further if they want to. But that short-term positive outlook could be there due to the fact that Bitcoin, just get back to my Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin could break through this area, still remain in its sell zone, and still be macro time frame losing momentum and, be bearish, but give us, for a lack of a better or easy analogy, just this. Push on a little bit higher, spend another 2 weeks making even a new all-time high, being even more bullish, and giving the altcoins a chance to rally. Okay. Now, you're seeing this when you look at the alt season index on CoinMarketCap, because the amount of coins surpassing Bitcoin is slowly but surely becoming more and more. Bitcoin, there's now 28 coins and we were 25. And yes, it's going to range a little bit, but you can see the trend is slowly but surely moving up. So more and more of these coins are finding a floor and turning around. Now, last week I was looking at OP, we were looking at Trump, and we were looking at Celestia. Now, these coins, Celestia is still right there at the bottom. OP has moved up, a few levels from last week, and Trump is now sitting somewhere here, isn't it? Let's see there, Trump, 11%. So these coins are slowly moving up. All this gets shared in the Discord, so you can always follow me on the Discord and the discussions as I share. So you're more than welcome to look at that. There was the chart shared for all these coins. Okay, so that thing brings me to almost my closing argument for today. Bitcoin breaks through the upper level. We've got Bitcoin dominance on the daily, on the weekly, all giving strong bearish divergence. Signs that it wants to push and test a little lower, giving the altcoins yet again another benefit of the doubt. And then we've got the USDT dominance as well. Not looking that convincing, okay? Meaning if we look at the support and resistance levels, it's turning these levels each time, it's turning them into resistance, and we're not making higher lows, okay? So we're range bound at the middle of the range. So it's kind of neutral, leaning towards the bearish trend there. Looking at the RSI, no divergence around these lows. So a choppy sideways going USDT with a bearish signal US Bitcoin dominance, with Bitcoin saying that maybe we have this weekly push past this red line. Let's just get back to that red line, okay? And the alts at bottom prices means that I'm leaning towards being bullish. Now, just another thing, the last little thing before I head over to the comments, and a while ago, a lot of people were raving about the golden cross. Now, what the golden cross is, so I just want to share this with you guys. So it is a moving average, okay, simple moving average, and I'm going to load 2 of it. And typically, the simple moving average is the 50, so that's your shorter time frame. And we can make that, let's make that blue for this instance. And then the second moving average would be your 200. Okay, let's make that orange. Okay. Now, golden crosses statistically gives you about a 70% chance that when it forms, meaning your blue crosses over the orange, that you will see more upside, at least 15 to 20%. Now, this is back tested all the way back down to the 70s. So we're looking at the S&P 500. They were looking at long before Bitcoin even existed. So there is validity in these golden crosses. Okay, so as you can see, if we were to compare these lows, this is where we went long. We had really nice moves. Once the golden cross is there, you want to see the momentum take up. And yes, in the beginning, you'll see all the bearish divergences there. Look at that. Prices making higher highs, RSI is turning around, but you're staying above support and, more importantly, creating hidden bullish divergence. So if you look at where we are right now, there's on this time frame, the signs are there. Okay, yes, golden cross just formed, but there's no divergence. There's no momentum at this stage. And that's the part that just worries me. Now, I hate doing these streams and giving basically two messages, one bullish, one bearish, but I always try and give you guys as much information as possible. And what I'm on about is typically when your golden crosses, stuff like this, okay, when you have an RSI, when you have a moving average that starts doing this, it's typically known as a false signal. Okay, guys. So just I'm leaning towards this thing, giving you the benefit of the doubt, but it could be a false signal. We could see Bitcoin going right back down to at least 103, and then building a base more so that these two align a little bit better before the market moves, before the momentum really kicks in. And that's just a dangerous signal. So looking at alts, it means that stuff like soon. I mean, we were in soon in the Discord. Everything, all the research was done. We're looking. It just had a token, massive token unlock, and all of these, token unlocks. Nothing impacted the price. We held support. So it's a good bet, and then just dumps on your ass. So there's no guarantees, guys. Remember, it's not financial advice, but there's always the other side. So I'm leaning towards Bitcoin going bullish. I'm leaning to the altcoins like OP going up, altcoins like Celestia going up. Let's open it up, Celestia. But there's always the flip side that it's not going to do that. So you have to manage the risk here, guys. Okay, so narrowing wedge. We know how these play out. A really good example of this is Curve. The last time Curve had a narrowing wedge, we were there. Look at what happens when you do have that narrowing wedge. Okay, Curve wasn't the best example of this. Which one? Comp was the one that we were playing off the narrowing wedge, but Curve played exactly the same way. So you get these nice moves. Okay, so just there it is, guys. I should just drawn it a little bit better. Okay, there. When you have this massive mover weights, so these kind of coins do have really good fundamentals. Trump. I was looking at Trump coin. Now Trump is it's one of those. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an important, significant coin into the future of crypto, but I think there could be money be made there. So I'm keeping an eye on this thing. Range dump lows, sitting on support. If we can consolidate around this area, you could see a quick pump up to 35 even, and so forth. If the market turns around, especially if Trump, starts saying the right stuff, that people incorporate. So there is something there. Okay. Now, there's a few other coins that we can have a look at. But I saw Afi's comment even in the Discord. My trader gut is screaming dump. But that's the problem I'm facing at the moment. And basically what I want to close on is, and before I do that, just as a kind reminder, guys, if you want to join my Discord, you want to trade with me, what you need to do is, like Afi, get a lifetime membership. Okay. Or if you just want to check out and you want to have a little nibble of what it is we do in there, get a partner role, get your Blowfin role today. Click on that little button there. So go to the navigation channel, get a partner role. So it means open your Blowfin account, support the video content. It opens a one-on-one chat channel where you just send me your user ID and trading view user ID, and I'll hook you up with some of the stuff in there. And you can join the party. Okay. So basically, in short, what we're trying to say is the trader in me says, this is what I'm going to close off with. The trader in me says, okay, this needs to go on higher because there's still people that there's All the other traders are seeing what we're seeing. And the market takes out three kinds of people, always. Three kinds of people. First, it takes out the scary ones, the scared ones, okay? And then it takes out the greedy ones, and then it takes out the smart ones. And then the move happens. And the smart ones is mostly the guys that's now been around a while. You see the divergence, but then it does, you get the short, but then it goes up a little bit higher still, and then only dumps. And those kind of things then happen because the smart ones, they're too soon to get into the move. You want the dump to happen now. And I think there needs to be a little bit more bullish news. I think there needs to be a little bit more hopium for that to happen. Okay. And we all know this little image, guys. Once the Fed pivots, the market rallies on, and only later on the dump happens. Once the Fed pivots, we haven't even pivoted yet. So give the bullish side the benefit of the doubt, as opposed to trying saying, okay, what? But my gut. Your gut is seeing what it is. It's right. Your gut is right. But the market will engineer these highs. Why? Because the big players need your exit liquidity. So they're going to keep on pushing price higher. And we see this by the fact that, and I don't have all the charts open, on at this moment, but you see that by they're removing the circulating supply for spot Bitcoin off the exchanges, which means they've got more paper Bitcoin, leverage Bitcoin to manipulate the price with. Okay. On a little bit of on another side note, if you look at gold, I mean, look at this gold chart, guys. Don't tell me there's not going to be a reversal at some stage. Okay. And it's worth noting that, any condition, be it bullish, be it bearish, nothing lasts forever in most cases. So yeah, we've been looking at gold. We had a nice long. We're starting to not trend. We're not really there. We're range bound at the moment. The market is trying to figure out what its next move is going to be. Okay. Just like Bitcoin is trying to figure out what its next move is going to be. So if it goes above this, expect the market to push on higher, because then the guys say, okay, then it's bullish. Let's go. If it goes around that area, expect the market to hunt for a little bit lower. Okay, that's simple as that. Over to your comments, and then we're going to end off the stream. Let's see what else we have. Can you show your private group a bit and what the... well... this falls out of the scope of the YouTube content, but we can see how we can make that up. I see Peter is bringing up another comment. Life service trading buddy indicated it could be one private free spread at the scam as other members. There you have it. There you have it. Read through it, because that's all that it is in all essence. I mean, it puts you in a community where there's not a lot of other nonsense going to be around there. We talk trading. You're safe. As simple as that. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Okay, guys. So 2 levels. Keep your eye on that. And I'll see you I'll be in the Discord. Okay. So I'll be in the Discord. And I'll see you guys there. So I'll be in the Discord. We're going to be looking at a few more coins. And yeah, that's it. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.